I'm Coach Tina Shawson, and welcome to my podcast. If you're in a season of change, growth, reflection, or even confusion, you're in the right place. Think of this as our little conversation, something that is honest, unfiltered, and grounded in the things we all go through but rarely talk about. Here I get to show up as myself too, not as a coach, but as a fellow human being, navigating life, learning, unlearning, and growing right alongside with you. So settle in and let's begin. Why is it that people romanticize struggle simply because they believe that struggle is needed to grow? And why is it that some leaders or older people in the organization feel that they need to be able to give the person a hard time so that the person would grow? Still, some talents, some Gen Zs that I know, they would rather not suffer. They would rather not suffer. Why is that? Because they simply know there is another way of learning. There's another way of learning, and it is their choice to learn from suffering or to learn in other ways. As I go through, discuss, and have conversations with different talents and different leaders, I came to realize two things. The first one is people suffer to grow because this is being brought to them. This is being influenced by their environment. Oftentimes, these talents are the ones that are, they have bosses or leaders way older than them. And the leader's perspective is for this key talent to toughen up para maging matibay siya, importante that the person learn it the hard way. So suffer to grow. I clearly remember one of my coaches, executive coachee. He is not very much loved by his people, but he's delivering results for the organization and is making his team deliver results for the organization. But practically, his perspective is they need this for them to get better. They need to suffer for them to get better. Different leaders would have different ways of shaping their people. I may view it differently, but I respect that particular client of mine because he's able to deliver results. Is he able to leave dead bodies behind? Or are the people he leads become so drained? Some of them, yes. The other thing that I have noticed about talents is that suffering to grow becomes their choice. This is more different because they choose to be under that leader. They choose to be in that kind of toxic environment because they know they needed to toughen up so that they can be tougher. Because they know that if they survive this kind of organization, a lot more organization will run after them because he or she is able to thrive in that toxic environment. To a certain extent, some are true, but to a certain extent, others are able to manage that, mostly Gen Zs. And some of the talents that I know, Gen Zs that I know, go through that path of allowing themselves to suffer, to grow, give themselves a certain lead time, a clear lead time. I will just stay in this organization from here to here, or I will stay under the leadership of this boss from this date to this date. So that's how they manage it. What's the sense of being able to understand this? The Gen Zs exercise their choice in experiencing suffering as growth or as their channel for growth. And not all Gen Zs are able to do that. Some of the Gen Zs that I know, they would rather not. Thus, and this is with respect to all Gen Zs, they are being perceived, this quiet quitting and quiet cracking phenomenon is being perceived. Mahina naman yan eh. They're not as tough. It's actually a choice. So let me bring this back to you. Is there a certain pattern that you have been observing? A certain pattern that struggles are needed? Or a certain pattern that growth can be found from struggles and from choices. And when I say choices, we do have a choice to look at growth coming from struggle and to look at growth coming from joy, coming from the kindness that we are able to receive from others, people that we role model with. So as we experience life, we continuously discern and exercise our choice. Do we grow from the struggles? And nothing wrong with that. And do we grow from the joy that we experience in life? Or do we grow from both? Well, realistically, we need to experience. I think the change is how I discern it. We may have the same experience, but you found growth in it. Ako hindi ko nahanap. Thank you for spending time with me. I hope today's conversation gave you something to think about, something to feel, or something to grow from. If you resonate with this episode, share it with someone who might need it too. And if you want more real human conversations about leadership, career, and life, make sure to follow my podcast, Ask Tina Shoson, so you don't miss the next one. This is Coach Tina, and remember, you own your life narratives. I'll talk to you in the next episode.